This is your basic meditation lecture where we will be talking about what is meditation, how to get started, and then we'll go through just a short little meditation. All right, so what is meditation? It is the first step into self-discovery. So what this means is basically that we'll be digging deep into yourself and focusing on being still and silent. Multiple times in our world today, we can't live with the fact of being still or being in our body and in our mind and in our thoughts and in our breath. We're distracted by all these outside forces, and it's very distracting to not only our mental mind, but our emotions and our physical body and our stress levels. And so when we're able to find a seated space where we're quiet and we don't have any of those distractions, we're able to not react as much to those distractions. So it's just being able to look back and notice how you can react differently in situations and not let the daily life struggles or stresses cause that much damage on your mental and emotional health. So when you start feeling a little sad, anxious, or irritable, it's all about how you react to that emotion. So when you have those levels of being able to react very poorly, so in a way of kind of seeing red, so you automatically go into that space of not being here completely, not focusing, not thinking, not you're automatically going to the extremes of everything, whereas you can sit back and realize maybe this isn't that big of a deal, it's not gonna cause that much harm to me or anybody else, and it is what it is kind of thing. And we're able to look back and see that when we are able to take ourselves out of a bad situation just by changing our mindset a little bit, we're able to stop more bad things from happening. Meditation is far from a selfish activity. A lot of people see this as you're taking time away from your day that can be put to better things. If you own a business and you constantly have to be working at that business and constantly putting content out, bookkeeping, all of that kind of stuff, and it fills your whole entire day, and you can't see how you can fit 10 to 15 minutes more in to an activity that may not seem like it's doing anything, but ultimately, if you give yourself that time, the universe will also give you time. So you'll be able to work through your day much faster and with less stress and less distractions if you're able to spend 10 to 15 minutes focusing in on yourself ultimately. There are two forms of meditation. So the first one is the formal meditation. This is the seated meditation where you put aside some time to focus on meditation and really only meditate. Everyday practice is important, and this is what will strengthen our practice off of our chair, cushion, or bolster, or anything that you may use. As soon as we cultivate a very, very good practice during seated meditation, you can easily bring it out into the outer world and bring mindfulness into your life. When we rest from our mind's constant running around, we're able to actually be present in the moment. So like I was saying before, we want to stay as present as we possibly can. And that means following our breath, each inhale and each exhale, not focusing on the next inhale or the next exhale or the last inhale or the last exhale. You're able to focus on the current inhale or the current exhale. And you're not focusing on going further into the future by to-do lists or events that haven't happened yet, or you're not being held back in the past looking at things that you could have done differently, overthinking things, and you're able to stay right here in the present moment and focus on what you can do right now. And then the other part of meditation is the daily life informal practices. So this would be just bringing more mindfulness and awareness into your life, like actually being present in each moment. Often when you drive somewhere that you go every single day, like work, you often don't remember the drive there. That is not being present. That is going off into some unknown world that you don't know where you actually went. You could have ran 3 stoplights and not even realize it. I hope you didn't, but you could have done that and not even recognize it. You go on autopilot and you just hope for the best. Well, if we were mindful and being present, we notice every little detail, or you will eventually notice every little detail of each moment. When you're driving, do you notice your left foot, even though you only really use your right foot to drive? Do you notice your low back? Would you notice everything around you? That kind of thing. You want to be more mindful of the space around you, because the world is an amazing place. We just need to take the time to notice it. Meditation brings observation without criticism. So this is where the loving kindness part comes into play. We want to be able to sit in meditation and not judge ourselves. So when our mind does slip away, because it will, that's what our mind does, you want to be able to sit there and be like, yes, my mind wandered. But it's okay. That's what it's made to do. It's made to think. It's made to go off on little tangents. But the ability to come back to our breath and back to the present moment is what will keep us focused in the present moment. Put you back in control of your life, because ultimately we can't control the future. We can't control the past. We can't control others. We can only control what's right here. And right here, we can only really focus on if we're being mindful or sitting in meditation. Some benefits of meditation: it obviously calms us down. When we rise above emotion, hope, desires, and fears that may distort our thinking and our emotions even more. So when you are scared of something, that will raise your emotions, when you may not have to be scared of that. We find out what really matters in life, and where we are in life and where we intend to go. So often we say don't pay attention to the future, but if you set forth intentions in your mind and we set that intention in our meditation practice, our subconscious mind will try to make it happen to its best of its ability. Our subconscious mind wants to work with us. So as soon as we set the intention during journaling practices, mindful practices, meditation practices, our subconscious mind will ultimately take that as the truth and try to get that going as fast as possible, as soon as possible. We become more tolerant and loving in our relationship with others. As soon as we find loving kindness in ourselves, we're able to put that outward towards others. So as soon as you find that you can go through a meditation practice without getting upset with yourself, of having your thoughts go on and on and on in that train of thoughts, you're able to show yourself loving kindness. You can ultimately show that loving kindness to others when they don't meet your expectations. It decreases the chance of depression relapse and can be used instead of antidepressants in some cases. So when you do feel that emotion of sadness or dread, you're able to look beyond that and think that this is right now, but this is temporary. It won't be forever. I am not saying to throw away every other form of therapy, but I am saying that this can be a tool that can ultimately help and help you see that everything is only temporary. In the moment changes as soon as you realize it is the moment. So as soon as you recognize that you have that emotion of dread and doubt and sadness, that emotion changes because you're actually able to recognize it. And so meditation, when you're looking into yourself, during meditation, you're able to bring that meditative state into everyday life. You're able to actually recognize emotions as they come up and change them as they come up. How to meditate. The best thing to worry about is that quality is better than quantity. So 5 minutes of quality good meditation is better than it sitting for an hour of meditation where you're constantly drifting off. So if you're able to follow your breath for 5 minutes, you will receive more benefits of your practice than you would be if you would sit for an hour constantly being distracted. Early morning is considered the best time of day to practice. It's considered the auspicious time, so we're closer to everything else in the universe. We're closer to God, in the big picture God, and that it's the universe. So we're able to have that quiet time of day. Even if you live in a very lively household, you can still find a little sense of peace and quiet. The next time to practice would be right before you go to bed. So when the world is closing down, that would be another really good time. But try to practice at the same time each day. Your mind will crave that practice around that time. The more regularly and often you practice, the easier meditation will become. It's just like every other practice in the world, or every other talent or skill. It takes practice, and the more you practice, the better you will become. It's not something that will change overnight. Your environment. Try your best to use your space as only a meditation practice space. Obviously, this isn't obtainable for every single person, but try to do it as best as you can. Try to meditate in the same place. If you find that you don't have like a separate room that you can set aside for your practice, that's okay. Try to have like a cabinet where you can easily put your meditation stuff away, whether that be a devotional book, journal, a journal, a cushion, a blanket, whatever that may be for your practice. You can put it away easily, but you can also take it back out. You want to make this space as inviting as possible, so no negativity should enter this space. So if you have the ability to set aside a space where you can keep that positive energy up, that would be the most ideal situation, but make the most of what you have. Your posture. The most important thing is keeping a nice straight spine. So if that means that you can't sit on the floor, sit in a chair. Try to not have armrests so that your arms can just lay comfortably in your lap. But if that is your best situation with what you have and what you physically are capable to have, then that is perfect. If you're able to sit on the floor, great. Often it's best to use a bolster or cushion to lift your hips up a little bit to have that nice straight spine. But we want to be able to hold the body without tension. So once you're able to find your sit bones and your grounded points, you'll be able to sit up much straighter without forcing it, without having any trouble. If you choose to sit in a chair for your practice, make sure your feet are as grounded as they possibly can. We don't just want to be able to have our heels lifted. We want to have all four corners of each foot as grounded as you possibly can. But you also don't want to have this spot as comfortable that you fall asleep. You want to be able to stay alert enough that you'll be awake. Your clothing should be comfortable. There shouldn't be any tight spots on anything. You should be able to relax as much as you can and feel good in what you're wearing. Your breathing should be natural to start, and then as you begin to practice, you can start adding pranayamas, practices into your practice, whether that be nadi shodhana, so alternate nostril breathing, pratyaloma, breathing through the first half of our nasal passages, or Vastrika, which is a forceful inhale and forceful exhale. Those three practices are fantastic to add to any meditation practice as well. But to start, just a simple, natural, everyday breath. We become aware of what you are in this moment, and that means being aware of how you breathe in an everyday situation. As you start to breathe, or you start to practice more often, and you do want to manipulate your breath a little bit, the first step would be deepening each inhale and each exhale. So inhaling for a count of 6 or 8, one short pause, and then exhaling for a count of 6 or 8, and another short pause. This will bring your breath into your belly, so no chest breathing, it's all into your belly. Feel your belly expand with each inhale and deflate with each exhale. You want to focus on the quality of your breathing and not on the feeling or the thought that comes with it. So focusing literally on the inhale or the exhale, not thinking about whether you're doing it right or doing it wrong, literally just focusing on that inhale or exhale. What do you do when your train of thoughts come about? That thought that leads into another one, and then another one, and then another one. Just keep coming back to your breath. Notice the thought, notice that it arrived, notice what it is, and then let that thought just pass. Come back to your breath, inhale in, exhale out. Another thought pops up, notice it, notice that it happened, notice what that thought is, and then come back to your breath. Don't try to drag your thoughts on and on and on, trying to find the end of them, because the end of thoughts are never going to come. Come back to your breath, come back to the here and the now. Thoughts are often on the future and the past. They are very seldom in the present moment. So keep coming back to your breath. And meditation can ultimately be freeing of these thoughts. When you live in the present moment, like I said, your thoughts live in the future and the past. The present is what is the most important thing. When distractions come up, because they always will, there's some different things that you can do. So bodily sensations. Maybe you aren't used to sitting on the floor, but you want to sit on the floor and you start feeling pain in your knees. Can you just spend 2 breaths in that pain, sending a breath to that spot, and then mindfully move, but noticing each movement as you do it? Or when a phone rings in a nearby room, you don't have to worry about it, but it rings, you can just hear the ringing, notice that the ringing is happening, and come back to your breath. Our expectations of having a perfect meditation practice is what is often stopping us from achieving that perfect meditation practice. A perfect meditation practice will never happen. We just need to keep coming back to our breath, letting go of expectations, and stay with loving kindness. Some aids to meditation is incense or aromatherapy oils and flowers, so a little bit more of a scent can also be lovely in the meditation practice. Mantras, journaling, all of that kind of thing can also be very helpful if you want to set an intention before or after your practice.